Texas, home of AU Pro Hoop Season 3. Alicia Gray is tucks. Brown buries the three. Odyssey Sims ahead to Bell. No, triple finish. Kelsey Mitchell for the win. It is AU Pro Women's Basketball, and it is the talk of the town.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever AU Pro Basketball Watch Party. I'm Savannah Collins, Janae Sims. This is going to be so fun.
This is going to be great. I'm so excited. I'm excited to see all the picks. I'm excited to see what people have to say. It's going to be a fun time.
We've never done this before. We've broadcasted the drafts in the past from some sports. We haven't broadcasted the draft, and now we're settling in and we're doing what I think everybody does at home, which is sit and talk about the picks.
Right.
What do the teams look like? How do they come together? That was crazy. Didn't expect that. So I'm so glad that we can do this and you all can tune in and join us today.
For sure. So let's start us off. Who has the first pick? Let's talk about that.
Yes, so this is a snake draft. So Kelsey Mitchell is going to start us off. We're going to go all the way down from purple to blue, orange, then gold. Gold's going to get double picks, and then it's going to snake on the way back. So Kelsey Mitchell is going to start us off. And then we've got two first-time captains and then two captains who have done this before. So Odyssey Sims is no stranger to sitting in this chair. Kelsey Mitchell's done it before too, but for Alicia Gray and Lexi Hull, this is their first time. They've never had to put together their own team before.
I talked to Alicia about it at the scrimmages on Thursday, and I asked her, how are you feeling? You know, she said she has a whole strategy. She has it ready to go. If someone is picked, she has who's up next for her. She's ready.
That doesn't surprise me at all. She was so often with Naz Hillman last season. She was always Naz's first, second pick. I think it's interesting how when you're one of those early picks on a team, you kind of get to watch the team get built because it's built kind of around you in those first couple picks. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited for Lexi Holt and kind of see how these teams come together. But as we're sitting here waiting, Janae, if you had to make your first pick right now, we'll make it as just you. You're not Kelsey Mitchell. You're right. Janae Sims, and you're making your first pick. Who would it be tonight?
Call me crazy, but I don't care. I'm going with Tiffany Mitchell. I just feel like she does it all. She has that scoring ability for your team, the ability to get you passes in the paint, or she's a very good dribble drive, or she has a very good dribble drive. So if she doesn't have her own shot, she's looking to kick it out. I just think she's smart defensively, offensively. That's who I'd be going with.
I like it being a newcomer. Okay.
No, you gotta. I have faith in her.
She was good at the scrimmages too. Yeah, I'm kind of going a little bit on the scrimmage performances. I know we've talked a little bit about that, and we can dig into it as we wait on these picks. So I think for me, especially this season, there's kind of two positions that I think are going to be super key. I think it's going to be the point guard, and I think it's going to be the center. Me, I'm going with somebody that will run the point for me, who's I can build this whole team around and know their style and know their offense. So I think with my number one pick, I'm going with Natasha Cloud, someone I can know who can get it done and really facilitate, but then also can pop off and score.
Right.
So I think for me, I got to go with a point guard. Yeah. If I had to wait until all the way coming back to me before I get my point guard, I would be stressed. I'd be I'd be too stressed.
Right. Now we're all looking at each other like, okay, who's about to bring the ball up?
Right. Is it you? Is it me? I don't want to do it.
That's true. Center, now that you bring it up, it will be interesting to see who goes for Kalani first, because that's her. She's a big dog in here. So it'll be interesting to see who picks her up.
She was a big time player season 1. She didn't play with Athletes Unlimited last year, but she's returned after going off overseas, having a fantastic season with the Wings, signing a multi-year deal. This has been the rise of Kalani Brown for the last 4 years. And I think we're going to see that impact that she has this season as a center and kind of how a team can play around her. It's interesting, though, because unless you maybe play on a W team or college team that really ran around bigs and can set up that system, do you think it's possible that maybe some captains wouldn't really know how to utilize that role as well as others?
I think so. And this is where AU becomes interesting, where the players are kind of the coaches. So, I mean, using a true center, I mean, you think about high school and college sports, they don't get utilized always the way they should be.
Right. Right.
But if it were me, I'm picking her up right away because you have someone that's an automatic rebound. Someone that is, I think she's able to run the floor well. Like if you watched her at the wings, or with the wings, she got up and down, a quick breather, but she got up and down the way you needed her to be. So to me, I think she's important to the team aspect. Like it would be interesting to see, are people going guard heavy? Are people like spacing the floor with 2 guards, 1 power forward, a center? I don't know. It's all up in the air. I'm ready to see these picks come in.
Me too. While you guys are tuning in, go ahead and drop who your number 1 pick be, and maybe if you're thinking about some of the things that we talked about this season, how you think this first draft will unfold, whether it's your must-have pick or the style team that you're building. I think what's interesting about this roster is that it has a lot of those hybrid players that are becoming so popular in basketball in general. When you kind of look through, we've got a ton of size, but not necessarily, 6'7" like Kalani, who's our tallest player. But they can do a little bit of everything. They can score, they can rebound, maybe they have a good mid-range. Was there anything that stood out to you from the scrimmages? So for everybody just kind of getting familiar, all of our athletes played in 2 full speed, game speed scrimmages leading up to today. So they could kind of get that feel, become familiar with the point system, how AU works. Anything that stood out to you really as kind of like a theme or a big moment from the scrimmages that maybe the captains are thinking about as they put together their teams?
To me, it was the forwards who led the charge. So LA, oh my God.
Looks so good. Looks
Hoover.
so good.
Okay, a Hoover. She's long. She got her hands on pretty much everything that came her way. Great post moves. Like she did her big one. I really liked how she was playing. And then KB.
Yeah.
KB was in her bag. Like the assists to her facilitating. I really like what she was doing. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets picked up right away.
Okay, first pick is in. Number 1 pick of the first draft is Air Hearn. And if you were at the scrimmages, you know why. I was just about to talk about her. She looked free. That's the best way I could describe how Air Hearn played. She was just free. She was flying all over the court. She is one of those point guards this season who I think really took off at the end of the 2023 season, started getting more minutes. But because the AU season is so short, you're just like, oh, Air Hearn's got something going. And then, the season was over. Okay, we got some more picks coming in. This first round is moving quick.
Oh, okay. So Team Hold, they got Ruthie. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. And then my girl Tiff. Okay, I knew it. I knew she picked it up quick. She does it all. And, they got that Gamecock connection with Alicia and Tiffany. So I see it. They're keeping it in the family real quick.
I think week 1, you got to go with chemistry, especially because there's so many people coming in from a lot of different places and settings and teams. I would want chemistry above all else, at least going into the first week of the season. Like we can figure out the rest later.
Right.
And then Odyssey Sims with her number 1 pick. This doesn't surprise me at all with it being Kirsten Bell, not only for how well Kirsten played, but they played together a ton last season. She was kind of one of her like go-to picks. And this is Odyssey's 6th consecutive week as a captain if you jump back to last season. Like she kind of knew what she was doing, and then she comes in and picks up Lexi Brown. I think that makes a ton of sense. She's going for scorers.
Right, scorers.
She's that we're putting up points.
Right. Here comes, Natasha. I like that. Okay, Team Orange, y'all got some dogs.
Yeah. It's always interesting to me what team also is going to play really aggressive defense.
Right.
I think you can kind of go 2 ways sometimes at AU. You go for some like really high scoring, obviously good defense, but then there are others who are like, this is what we're working on all week is we're putting together a defense. And then Lexi Hull coming in with another pick, Haley Jones. She looked great in the scrimmages too.
She did. I liked her. I liked what she was doing. Big guard. That's why I got big guard.
Big guard.
Yeah.
Kelsey Mitchell. Okay, her first 2 picks. Air Hearn coming back. She's about to get double picks. She's going with the South Carolina Cook. I like it.
I think Zai is gonna have a really good year. This is something that I feel like is her style, her speed. She went viral on YouTube for that one-on-one that ISO interaction. I feel like this is what she is made for.
Well, it's so neat for me to see WNBA rookies come and step into playing AU because I think it can be such a great setting for them to be in a different environment, kind of get to define themselves. Like they're not coming in to fill a role on a W team because they just got drafted. Like they can come here and really kind of redefine their game and say, hey, this is the other things that I'm available to do and can do.
Right.
I think it's a good setting. LA, that's no surprise coming in to start off that round for Team Mitchell.
Yep, I like it. And then once again, Gamecocks, you got Zaya and LA teamed up again, and they know each other. Like you said, chemistry.
South Carolina fans are going to be riding hard for purple this week. Okay, let's take a look at the draft board after we've got to see these first couple picks. So you can kind of see everybody broken down by position. A lot of guards, a lot of forwards in this league this season. That's, no surprise. That hybrid role, guard forward, tall, great rebounders, a lot of those athletes are still available. And then the point guards too, just had a couple taken off the board coming out of that round. I feel like people are going to start to establish a little bit more size in this round, trying
that would surprise me.
Because you think with these first couple picks, you're putting together your starting five.
Right. There's the size. You called it.
Teresa Plaisance. She was a little hot and cold last season. She would have a really strong week and then maybe be a little bit quiet. But I think it's what we talked about of just being with a captain and a style team that can run, but she can do a little bit of everything despite her size, which I think really makes her successful at AU and being able to pick up points.
For sure. Team Gray looks like a dot got picked up.
She looks good in the scrimmages too. I think what stands out to me, about, TP, Adut, also LA, like we talked about, they can move. There's really not anything about their size that's holding them back.
Right.
It makes them super versatile in a league like this.
Yeah, for sure. I like when a big can get up and down the floor. That stretches things out so much.
And this league is fast. These games are moving. Okay, they're just going all for it in this round. Number 12 pick, Kalani Brown. I really like this kind of core that Odyssey's establishing early. So, you have Odyssey and Kirsten Bell and Lexi who all have that ability to bring the ball up the floor. They can facilitate, they can pass, then filling things in with Kalani Brown, having your size and your rebounder. And now Ray Burrell. This is a good little group that they're putting together. I feel like we're going to say that about every team, though.
Right. Ray really impressed me in her scrimmages, too. Thursday, she showed out. She did a little bit of everything from three-point shooting, running the floor well. I really like that pick. Ray, I think she's going to surprise a lot of people.
We haven't seen Sydney Colson picked off the board yet, but you will be able to talk to her later if you're tuning in. So she's going to join us post-draft, talk about the preseason, being on the player executive committee, and building this roster. She leads that group. She has been AU's one of their fiercest leaders since the beginning. So she's going to join in after the draft. So stay tuned. Once all the picks are in, we're not done quite yet. Sydney Colson's going to join us. We're going to get to chat with her for a little bit. You can send those questions in the chat too. So we'll see her when she gets picked off the board coming in.
So judging, we got some more picks. So I'll save my question.
They're moving quick. Yeah. All right. Number 14 pick, Emily Inksler. I'm excited to see her this season, especially just kind of filling into a role, getting some consistent playing time. And then a last-minute signee, literally this morning, Grace Berger is joining the league. So in case you missed it, it just came out on Twitter this morning in a press release that sadly Avina Westbrook is out for the AU season, which I'm so bummed about. I really wanted to see her in year 2, and I wish her the best and a speedy recovery. But they got to fill that role. So it's going to be Grace Berger, any Indiana female representing this season.
Right. And of course, Lexi picked her. So
Yeah.
That's some extra practice for them together. That'll be good.
They've really got some chemistry going on because Lexi's facilitator is Karima Christmas Kelly, who's one of the Fever assistant coaches.
Yep.
I think that is a huge advantage that if you don't pay attention to can really pay off is how well do you work with and know your facilitator.
For sure.
We can talk a little bit about those other
Maddie comes in. Oh my gosh. Let me talk about Maddie.
Take it away. I want to hear it.
Maddie is a bucket. She is a silent assassin to me. Okay. She is a go-getter. Actually, you know what? I heard she's actually not as silent as we think she is. She talks a lot more than what you think. But she is a bucket getter. I went to like an open run a couple days ago. She from the outside in can do it all. I love Maddie. I love her. I think she's gonna be great.
Looking at these teams, we've got these first 4 picks in. So if you're thinking about what a team is going to look like, who's going to be starting on the floor, it's really this group as we're in the 4th round and these picks are starting to come together. Mm-hmm. I know we just talked a little bit about Lexi Hull being with Karima. So these are some of our other facilitators this season and who they're paired with. So it'll rotate every week. So Odyssey Sims is with the legendary Simone Augustus. They're working together in week 1. Alicia Gray is with Breon January. Lexi is with Karima, like we mentioned. And then Kelsey Mitchell is going to be paired with Chastity Melvin. So those are our facilitators. They kind of serve a role to assist the captain. There's a lot that the captain can't see, especially if they're on the floor. They help them build practice plans. Like they help them make substitutions in the game. So that's the role that they play within AU. And they really kind of help. They're there to support the captain throughout the process. And they bring some really cool insight too.
For sure. And they're just great people. They
are
on and off the court.
All right, number 17 pick, Ty Young, one of the OGs of AU. She's been here since the beginning.
Good vet to have either on your bench or on the floor.
Definitely.
It would be interesting to see like when those vets come into play, but I think it's smart to have someone. It's almost like 2 coaches on the bench now, or a coach on the floor too. Those veterans are huge to have on your team.
Next pick is the same thing. Essence Carson going to Team Hull. I think she can be such a strong pick because of not only what she does on the floor, but what we were just talking about, like her vision and the way that she contributes to a team. Whenever you're in the huddle and Essence Carson talks, everybody is listening. Like if there's someone that I just want to be a sponge and could have just a fraction of their basketball knowledge, I think for me it would be Essence.
Yeah. And there goes Sid. Okay, Sid is the 19th pick for Alicia Gray. I like that. I think she needed another point guard in there. I like Leash's team a lot. I see her
too.
Vision. I see her vision.
I like the mix.
Like they're all dogs. If you're
yeah,
that's very defensive minded. Go getters. I like it.
I feel like they all approach the game similarly. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm thinking about Alicia, Tosh, Sydney especially, like their philosophies are super similar. I love seeing that identity start to come together. It kind of takes until this round, like the 5th round, is be like, okay, where are they going with this? Like what's the team identity?
Right. Are you surprised anyone is still on the board at this point?
Ooh, let's take a look at who's left. I think looking through these picks right now. Who am I surprised that's left? I'm trying to think back to scrimmages.
Mm-hmm.
I think
using Taj.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I would say that's the person. She had a ton of playing time. She put up a lot of points too. Mm-hmm. She's one of those true point guards in the league. And I think she could be great if you even had maybe have your point established or you have your guards established, like being able to do a true substitution.
Right.
We haven't seen anybody really do that a ton in previous years. Like if you want to run a whole other rotation, I think you could build it around Taj Cole. She kind of surprises me that she's still on the board.
Right.
Okay. Odyssey's double picks are in. She's going with Taya Cooper and Bashar Graves. Taya put up some numbers at the scrimmages too.
Mm-hmm. Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday. Yeah. What I was reading, she showed out.
Yeah, she played super well.
It would be interesting to see, she's had some time off from the league, what she's been working on. what she's going to bring. I'm excited for her. I think it's good for her to be back out there.
I think Team Sims could be a super high scoring team,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're hitting from three. Having Kirsten and Lexi, especially Odyssey too. She was one of the 3-point leaders last season. They could be lethal if you don't put a hand in their face.
For sure. For sure.
All right, so we are 21 picks in. If you're tuning in, maybe you used to watch the drafts or tune in to the post-draft interviews as an Unlimited Club member, or maybe you've never heard of it before. So basically what it does is you can unlock all the exclusive benefits of being a UC member in one place. So it lets you do a couple things. You can vote on game MVPs. That's a huge category to move up the leaderboard in AU. The players vote on it, and the Unlimited Club members vote on it. You can connect with fellow fans, chat in our message boards, compete in our fantasy league. That is super fun, especially if you really get into building your own team. And it's free. You can just go ahead to the AU website, auprosports.com, and sign up for your membership and join the Unlimited Club. It gives you a lot of access, lets you be a part of the league a little bit more heavier if you're getting into it this season. I'm sure a bunch of you have joined in the past and have been tuned in. All right, let's see. Pick 22 coming in, Tiana Muldrow. Are you super familiar with her game? I'll be honest. I was kind of trying to get a sense of her at the scrimmages.
Yes. I don't know much about her. I'm excited to learn about her, see more of her. But that's what AU is about, is learning more of these players, and especially ones that we don't know about. So I'm excited.
Definitely. So Tiana was a West Virginia grad. She was there 5 years. She was drafted in 2018 in the WNBA. She's played a ton of years overseas. So it's fun for fans. Maybe you were a fan of her then, or you haven't got to keep up with her game in a while. She's back playing stateside. You can tune in and watch her during the season.
Number 23 pick just came in, Lauren Mincy.
I'm glad Mincy's back. When I think about, she was one of our first ever signees for AU basketball. When I think about season 1 and launching the league, it was largely around Mincy. And you've seen the way that she's grown and changed. Her game has become so much more adaptable. She's added a lot of different assets, things to herself to just make her a threat. And I think that's a really strong pick, especially here in the 6th round.
Right.
You're starting to build your kind of your subs and your bench.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that can play into your team? You've got your starting 5. You've got your first couple people off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
These next couple picks are going to be who can support your team in the tough games and who's going to be at practice. How big a role do you think we're going to see that play this season? Because this roster is so strong top to bottom.
Right, for sure. I always think a bench plays a huge role in any team. I think too many people discredit how good of a bench you really need. I'm going to throw it just to college real quick. Look at South Carolina. Number 1 has not lost the game. And that, I think, in huge part is the bench. They have 5 in. There are 5 that can come in, 5 that can come out, and there's no slowing them down. So I think in AU, I think it's super important because it's such a fast-paced game. I think you need a strong bench that will be able to get up and down with the best of them throughout the game. So I think it's extremely important.
Yeah. We've got our finishing out the 6th round, Akila Mays coming in. But I want to come back to what you just mentioned about South Carolina and how I think if a captain can do it right, maybe they're not doing 5 in, 5 out, but they have a substitution system. AU is tough. You're playing 3 games in a week.
Right.
For some players who don't come off the floor, that is a lot of minutes. And fresh legs can be lethal. And I think that's what I've kind of been waiting to see happen in the league is teams being able to have a good substitution system and be able to take over those quarter wins.
Right.
I feel like you can maybe see a lull in the 2nd, 3rd quarter, and then they try and make that strong push to win the 4th. But these last couple picks are really important as these teams build out to, are you going to be able to pick up those points, and are you going to be able to lock things down when, your starters need a break?
Right, for sure. 3 games, it's just like AAU. No wonder it's oh my gosh, I remember just being so tired, dead legs. So yeah, it's super important for them to be able to take those rests and have someone that can back them up.
Definitely. So we're 6 rounds in. Anything starting to come together to you about these teams? I'm looking at Team Whole. I know we haven't talked about them a ton, but to me, they just seem cool and collected.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a very under control team,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. The word that sticks out to me for them is also like discipline. I see a lot of like disciplined players that will play their role, do what they know how to do. Very like team aspect. I like her direction where she went with it.
Me too. I know we talked about Orange. Those are the dogs.
Dogs. That's our nickname. Yeah. The dogs.
Gold. They're the shooters. They're gonna be throwing up some shots. I haven't put together what I think about Purple yet, though. I think that's a team where I'm like, okay, I see how these players fit together individually, but I'm not quite sure what the team identity is yet.
Yeah.
But I think it might be because they've got a mix of newcomers and returners. I'm not sure.
And they all play differently. Like each person, I don't know. It's interesting. Kelsey's interesting though. If you look at her game, this might be modeled after her game. You never know what Kelsey Mitchell might do next. So maybe this is all her strategy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to her this week. Like, tell me the vision. What? Talk me through this team. Okay, we're having a ton of 7th round picks come in kind of quick. So Kelsey Mitchell started off with Soraya McGuire, and then Lexi Hull picked up Danny McCray. Love that pick, especially for the rebounding. Team Gray adding a shooter, Destiny Walker, and then Odyssey Sims with Sequoia Holmes to round out this 7th round. Different directions in this round.
I'm still rolling with Team Orange. I like the direction. I see it. I really see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking if I'm looking at a returner to me that I think could be a major threat this season, Alicia Gray is at the top of the list for me. She was a medalist last season, and I think she snuck up on everybody because she wasn't a captain. Right. So she was just hanging out in that like 10, 8, 6 spot, and then the final weekend made that push in. I think she's one to watch just because of her ability to score and pick up points. But so far, all of our AU basketball champions have been forwards. It's been Tiana Hawkins and then Alyssa Smith. Right. So if it was someone like Alicia Gray, this would be a very different style to win it all.
For sure. And I think we should bring that up is AU is so cool because it's not all about only points scored. Like you can climb up the leaderboard with rebounds, steals, offensive, whatever you think you can score on, you can. Like it's absolutely crazy, but it's so cool.
Well, and it's interesting because when you kind of break down, like, why did Tiana win? Why did Melissa win? Obviously, the win points are going to be the most important thing above all. And then you have to pick up those MVP points. You have to be clutch. But for both of them, rebounding was huge. It's a heavy stat point individually. You know, there is no downside to rebounds either. So maybe you're getting familiar with our point system and you're just tuning in this morning. So, like, if you miss a shot, you're losing points. But there is no risk to rebounding. Right. And rebounding is so much of just a mentality. Right. And I think if there's somebody who stands out who really did that in scrimmages, we talked about her, it's LA. She was everywhere. Yes. And she had the blocks. Yeah. She had a touch on almost so many shots. Yep. If there's somebody who I think could tap into those heavy stat point categories, it's her this season.
Yeah, I'm rooting for her. And, you know, she wasn't as utilized as I would like her to be in a dream. So I think it would be really good, especially for those Gamecock fans who ride so hard, to tune in and really watch her because you don't always get that during WNBA season. I think she is going to be vital and have a lot of minutes. So make sure you tune in and you guys watch her.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a reason she was picked early. We're starting to see this 8th round start to come in. Janae, take us through who we have so far.
All right. So We have Team Sims who drafted Angel McCoutry, veteran player. I think, once again, just smart to have someone on the bench who can talk through what's going on, give advice. I think that's a smart pick to have towards the end of your draft for sure.
Yeah.
Then we have Team Gray, who I can't even see it, drafted, who was that, Kalia Robinson. Okay, there it is, Kalia Robinson. And Team Hole, who's drafted Mimi Jackson. I love Mimi.
Me too.
I love Mimi.
She brings a great energy to a team, especially in practice. Like, Mimi always keeps the team dancing. She keeps it light. She's hype on the bench. I love that.
And then looks like Kelsey just drafted Taj. Number 3.
Okay, late put pick. Could see her, despite the draft board spot, getting good playing time with this team.
For sure. I think her, Zaya, and Air make a good little three guard punch.
Yeah.
You can play them 2 at a time. If they really want to get up and down, play them 3 at a time. I mean, that's not the tallest roster, but that brings defense and it brings speed. So you never know. It'll be interesting to see how they play them all.
Team Mitchell has rounded out her team with Dory Harrison. She's a first-year player in the league. We know the draft board's a little dark right now.
Yeah.
we're having trouble seeing it too, but we're working on it. We'll have that figured out for you all next week so you can see these picks come in with us. So Team Mitchell is complete. That is the 10-player roster for the Purple Squad this week. I like this group. You've pointed out some good stuff about maybe how this team's going to be. I got to talk to Kelsey, though. Like, okay,
right.
Tell me the vision. How's it all coming together? Because individually, these players can be super dynamic. But now that she's kind of put together this guard group, I think what you said about being able to get up and down the floor, that's how she likes to play. And I think that's how this team's going to play.
Fast pace. Let's get after it. Yeah. I'm excited to see Dory play. I'm excited to see Dory and Izzy interact. I think it's really cute that we have sisters that are playing. If Izzy was still a captain, I'm sure Dory would have been probably first or second off the list. But I'm excited to see her play. I think it's a really cool opportunity for her to get back out there and play against her sister now.
Right.
So I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. They got to end up on the same team at some point.
For sure. They got to.
All right, we're just waiting on these last 3 picks from Team Hull, Team Gray, and Team Sims. But if you guys want to stay updated, see the full rosters as they come out, keep up with practices and what's leading up to the game day. I'm sure most of y'all already do, but go ahead and follow AU Pro Basketball on any of our social media platforms. We just had a really good mic'd up come out this morning with Haley Jones and Lexi Hull. That's the type of stuff with our social that it's going to be really able to take you into the league and what these players are like and getting to see their personality. So make sure you do that. All right, Harrison sisters, back-to-back picks. Okay. I do think Izzy would have gone higher if she hadn't been listed as inactive.
Right.
So there's a little asterisk by her name on today's draft. So that was why she was picked in a later round. I think without that, Izzy would have been one of the top picks.
For sure. And I'm excited for her to get back in the swing of things and be able to step out on the floor again, especially after her injury last year. So once she's ready, the rest of them better be ready.
Right. Izzy is somebody who finishes at the top every AU season. And whether that she's been a captain the whole season or whether she, moves into one of those top spots at the end, she is never in the middle of the pack. She's at the top consistently.
Right.
All right, our last 2 picks. So Team Gray rounds out her team with Rebecca Harris, and then Odyssey Sims finishes it off with the number 36 pick with Whitney Knight. Those are the week 1 teams. Let's go. Yeah, clap it up. All right, Janae. Take me through. Let's start with gold.
Okay.
Odyssey Sims coming in, leading off this team.
Yep.
What do you think about the gold team? Maybe some strengths, maybe some things they might have to focus on in practice this week.
Strength is for sure offensive leadership. You have shooting on this team. You have people that can get to the basket. I I like the pairing of Ray and Lexi together, that LA Sparks connection. Odyssey, like you said, I think she picked KB 5. Actually, all the time she was the captain, she picked KB.
They were together all last season.
Yeah, all last year. So I think their chemistry is a big, strong suit for this. Not scares me, but I think one of their weaknesses just might be the ability to get up the floor. I don't see like too many point guards. Odyssey can bring it up, and Lexi, but not the strongest point guards to me.
Totally. No, I think that's a good point. If you look at Odyssey's draft trends last season, I think that can tell you a little bit about maybe what to expect. She was always in gold. And she was always, taking on that role of going with a point guard with her first pick. It was always Jordan Canada last season. They were such a strong duo. They were really hard to stop. And Odyssey let Jordan facilitate that team.
Yeah.
And it worked. They won consistently all season long. She's without her this season. Yeah. So I think she'll maybe need to identify like who that duo is, because that is one thing about Odyssey. If she's in the captain's chair, she's picking the same people every week. Like she does not like to switch it up.
Yep.
I hope that they find the right way to use Kalani Brown. Do like they have all these, long range shooting guards to maybe give Kalani some space. That to me is a strong point. But I think we have a lot to learn about Bashar Graves, Sequoia Holmes, Taya Cooper. Like, what impact will they make in this league? Because maybe they've been playing overseas and we haven't got to see their game this up close and personal in a really long time.
Agreed. Okay. I feel like you've been leaning Team Orange. I think we both have.
I think we both have.
Yeah. What do you like about them? What do you not like about it?
Oh man, I love a team that's going to get after it on defense. Like in a league where defense doesn't always help you earn points, it does help you win games.
Right.
Obviously you can get points on steals and rebounds, but kind of just like the mentality of defense, when we've seen teams be able to get that to click, they've been really hard to beat. So that really stands out to me about Alicia Gray's team. And that's why I like that group. To me, just on paper, obviously we got a lot to learn. I think they gel. And I like that about them. Yeah.
Good personality group. Very. Yeah. And you know what? The content side of me is coming out right now. But they have a group that is hilarious. And I need the whole team mic'd up for a practice. Just one time.
Yeah. All 10. Everybody's got a mic on. All right. We are getting ready for Sid to come join us. But let's talk a little bit about Team Hull and Team Mitchell. I know we've talked about them a good deal. Just kind of the very secure and mature vibes of Team Hull. I like that group too.
Yeah. Very Stanford vibes. It makes
sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. It's going to be neat to see at practice, and we'll be able to fill you all in a little bit about this next week when we join, because we'll have got to see a full week of practice of how did teams implement their offense? What type of sets did they run? Did that captain like being a captain? Was it tough? So we get to talk a little bit about that more. And then we have Team Mitchell, South Carolina heavy. I think they have a lot of go-getters, like really aggressive players who are super self-motivated. Like they play tough. And I think they took on the identity of their captain, Kelsey Mitchell, who's somebody who can do a little bit of everything and flies around the floor in that way.
For sure. I'm excited.
Me too.
To just be a part of it. I'm thankful to you to have us both here. I think it's going to be a really, really fun league. It's beautiful weather out in Dallas, Texas, guys. Come out. Come watch these ladies hoop, because they're going to hoop. This is not a game. Like, it's a game, but this is not a game. They're real.
Yeah. AU is just a chance to maybe see players that you never thought would be on the same team play together. And then athletes really getting to define themselves. Like the teams are changing every week. Like your role could be different in week 2 versus, week 1. It really just lets players shine in a way you haven't seen before.
For sure.
But as we wait on Sid, we'll talk a little bit about game 1 and game 2. Season debut is this Thursday, February 29th. First game of the season is going to be Team Hull versus Team Gray. That's going to be at 5 CT, 6 ET if you're on the East Coast. and that game's going to be on the WNBA app.
Mm-hmm.
The game 2 is going to be Team Sims versus Team Mitchell, HCT, also on the WNBA app. It's going to be easy for y'all to watch this season. No reason you can't be tuned in. No reason.
None. Team Hope is Team Gray. It's like, you remember that Christmas movie that's like Fire and Ice?
Yes.
Miser, so that's what that reminds me of. And their colors represent it too. So
all right, Sid is about to join us. So go ahead and drop those questions in the chat that you have for Sid. If you have some things that you want us to ask her, want us to get to as we chat about, this season. She's getting ready to join us, and we'll be able to get to talk to her for a little bit going into week 1. I can see her in the green room, which means she'll be with us soon. She's here. She's here. We're going to have a player join us like this every week. So once they get settled on their team, maybe they start to communicate with that group. They get moved into the Zoom room with their captain and stuff. We'll have a player join. Sid!
It's so hot in our room. I don't even want to turn on the light.
No, it's the high today in Dallas is 92.
When I tell you I'm hanging this up and jumping in my pool, I'm so serious.
No, it's not February or anything.
No, it's not even the city. It's our room in particular. The AC has been tripping the past couple days.
Ooh.
So
y'all can come over.
Y'all can come
I
over.
got AC.
Sid, who's your roommate this season?
TP.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Come on, you knew that.
We just need to set up some reality TV cams in your room.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna have some fun, but in the meantime, we need to switch rooms.
Thanks for joining us. We're glad you're here.
Of course, glad to be here. Hey y'all.
Hey,
Sid. Mary.
Okay, tell us about your team this week. What do you think?
Oh, I'm excited about it. I think we got all the pieces we need. We're gonna get out and be defending. Like, we got a long team, athletic. We got bigs who can shoot it, guards who can attack and shoot. I don't think I even played. I hadn't played with Tosh any of the 3 seasons, I don't think. So this is my first season on Tosh's team. I played with Leash a couple times last year. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna get after it.
Yeah,
I like that. What's it been like to have a fellow OG and Angel McCoughtry join the likes of you, Ty, and Essence at AU?
I think it's great just for like basketball-wise, of course, is great, but I think even more so for me, sticking around, like coming back to play this season. And then if I do in the future, I think for some of us, it's you want the game to be in good hands. So you want to be teaching the younger players like how to be professional, like even beyond what we do on the court. Like there's a certain way to go about things. A lot of us, or several of us, played in the W, and so we know what like the standard is and how you got to show up to things on time, or you got to go to some events when you don't want to. Like it's mandatory. That's the same thing here at AU. We want there to be a way that you conduct yourself so that by the time that you're done playing, or when these veterans are done playing, like you know what to do and you can set a good example for the people after you, so that we're never having to worry about, all right, is the game going to be in good hands? So yeah, I think it's great for those reasons.
You're on the PEC, so you help build that roster, reaching out to players and like putting together really the group that plays in a season. What was maybe some like intentions or goals that you had for season 3 of like, okay, we have our returners. These are the type of athletes that we want to add to the 40-player roster who's playing with AU this year?
Yeah, I think for us, like we want to like make sure that we're mixing up. So I think each year we probably, I don't know, what are we, maybe like 50% of the league. We have like a good amount of people come back. and then the rest we want to mix up with like maybe some new W talent if we don't have the same W players return, some new overseas talent, some new players who are out of college. So for us, we were trying to just ensure that we were looking all over to add more pieces. It's always tough getting bigs because you're competing with the overseas markets, trying to open back up. So, we lost a lot of potential bigs just to that market. But yeah, it was just we want to keep the game like as balanced as possible and have people who truly play the 5 and people who truly play the 4. And we know basketball has gone to like positionless for a lot of people, but we like to still have like getting Kalani was huge. Having TP be somebody who can go post up or stretch 5, that's big. And then we brought in some more bigs who are capable of playing both positions. But yeah, we're just trying to make sure that we keep it like balanced as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that a lot of just how the roster, most of the athletes on this roster are dynamic. And then you have a couple, true point guards, true centers, true 4s.
Right.
And like, will a captain lean into, I'm going to put together a traditional, 1 through 5 on the floor, or are we going to do something that's a little bit hybrid and do things differently?
Yeah. And it was interesting to see this draft. I think a lot of other years when you'd have guard captains and sometimes they would go with a big first.
Mm-hmm.
Circle back to get a guard. A lot of the guards went with guards. So yeah, it was just a different setup than other seasons. So it'll be interesting to see definitely how the games go. I feel like teams are pretty balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I think all the games that you're going to see are going to be close ones. I don't think any team is really just built to blow another team out. So it'll be interesting to see.
For sure. Sid, you're really good at nicknames. So we gave teams some nicknames, but looking at all 4, what would you name each team?
Big names for the teams. Dang, I'm like trying to remember who people were even picking. You talking about based on who they picked?
Yep. Like for you guys, you guys are the dogs. That's what we named you. Dogs.
Yeah. Damn, what's the other lineups? I'm like, let me see if they put this on Slack real quick. So we're orange. Okay. Odyssey's team. Okay, Odyssey wanted like she got a lot of shooters.
That's what we said. That's what we said.
I don't want to say bang bang because then that's like a violent association. Maybe something else related to sniping and shooting. Let's see, Lexi Hall. Is it Danny Edison? Let's see. I feel like they're just a nice team. They're just a nice group of people. Very pleasant. I'm giving like nicknames for y'all's team. I'm looking at y'all's team. I'm like, very nice girls.
That's the team you want to take on to meet your parents. Like, hey, this is my team.
Meet my mom or meet my dad. Yeah, that's team. Meet the parents. Kelsey Mitchell, Taj, Ty Young, Zaya, Letitia, Natty, Dory, Akita, Ray, Air. That one's tough. Did y'all already name them?
That's the
This
one.
is it. We can't name. We can't name this team.
Wild cards.
Ooh, I like that. I
That's
like
good.
that.
We just needed some help from you, Sid.
Right.
On that last one, we were like, gosh,
Wild
what is this
card.
team gonna
I
be
like that.
Dang, I gotta come back with the shooter one. Gun range, Mike.
Okay, we got a question in the chat for you. I know we talked a little bit about this roster. Who are some of the first-year AU players you are looking forward to seeing most?
First year AU players. Let me first remember who was the first year.
Oh no, their first year this season. I think it's
Right. Like first season period with AU.
first season period. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Tiffany Mitchell for sure. Emily Ingsler, Zaya, Ray. Like there are a lot. I feel like there's a good mix of newcomers. Grace Berger is coming in. She's replacing Avina. Obviously, Avina got hurt, unfortunately. But yeah, just like the new players, but also the young ones. You know, because hopefully this is an introduction to AU for them. They come out here, they compete, they get better, they work on things. For those who are, whether they're in the WNBA or they go play overseas, you work on your game so you go to your next season with confidence. And then hopefully, you know, they're talking to teammates who could potentially be interested in AU in the future. I think it's good for us. We had that intent when we were recruiting to definitely try to get some younger players in so that they could get their feet wet in AU and see if they like it and if it would be something they want to do in the future.
Definitely.
So yeah, excited for the young ones.
Cool. All right. So last question.
Yeah.
Do you think the season being a week shorter will change the game in any way?
Good question.
Yeah, I think that it, like, off the bat, there's already much more serious competition once the games start compared to the scrimmage week. But I think it being 1 week shorter is going to make people's sense of urgency elevate even more. Like, I definitely think it's going to increase. I think you'll see better decision making, like much more team basketball from the jump. You don't have like that extra week of like, all right, that wasn't a great week, I can make it up the next 4. It's like, no, you really got to be on it from the jump. And then how people, obviously, even if you have like a rough week individually and you have time to like ease in a little more, people can see you more. It's like you got to show what you can do from the jump, because it'll affect draft stock, obviously, and how you do. But yeah, I think the sense of urgency is the main thing that'll change.
That was a good question. I like that question in the chat.
Yeah, great
Perfect.
question.
All right. Thank you, Sid. We appreciate you coming and joining us and kind of sharing us an insight on building this roster and what to expect this season. We're always glad to get to talk to you.
Yeah, y'all. Thank y'all. I'll see y'all soon.
See you soon.
Yes. See you at practice.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. That's their teams. That's your teams. Let's get to talk to Sydney Colson. Janae, I feel like we've talked about it. At this point, we just got to sit back and get ready to watch.
Right. Now we can watch, take it all in, see who does what, see who climbs that leaderboard. I'm excited.
Me too. We'll be here every week for the draft. So if you want to tune in, watch these picks come in, chat in the comments about your favorite teams, favorite players. We'll be here. So if you're working that 9 to 5, spend your lunch break with us. Hop in on YouTube and hang out. This is great. We love it. We love you guys being here. And we'll be back next week. And hopefully, with a week under our belts, Janae and I can kind of bring you some insights into what practices have been like and what it's like being at Athletes Unlimited basketball throughout the week.
For sure. And I think there's a video to end us out too.
So